home runs a lot, but like I said, I mean, you put yourself in a position to hedge. It's not so bad.
Yeah, guys, how we doing? Happy Friday. Chuck Silver and Nick Marro here. We were talking about some MLB coming into the show. Um, Home run bets. Model's pretty good at analyzing baseball. I don't know. Nick, how we doing? How are we looking forward to today's disgusting NBA slate?
Yeah, man. We had some day baseball shifting to NBA now. It's tough. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, this time of year, it's very difficult to kind of I don't know keep track of everything, especially on FanDuel tonight where they did not cut off any games, which is obviously going to be a bit of a pain. But hey, that's what we're here for: help you guys win money. And there's still a huge edge to be had, especially on these Friday nights where not everyone's always glued to their computer late swapping. So, hey, we're here. We're gonna crush it, and hopefully we win you some money.
Yeah, and we're gonna have some expected news, but like we had the whole Nuggets starting lineup sit out unexpectedly the other night. Like I don't know how we could have predicted all of them being out, but just be ready for unexpected news because, like Nick mentioned, I mean the edge tonight is going to be massive, especially on FanDuel. I'm only on DK today. I am going to play the night slate though, I think, so I should be able to dive into every game. DFS buddy, good to see you. SGA for 90. If I mean he's got him and Luca are the ones that are lagging right now. Everyone else put up 90.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Smitty and I were on, and we're like, Giannis hasn't had the ceiling in a while. Sure enough, he absolutely crushed. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we've seen it from Luca. Maybe tonight's his night.
He's so hurt, dude. Watching every Laker game, he's so tired after like 5 minutes, and he's just exhausted the whole game. And it's
Yeah,
he looks different.
yeah,
Ben Jeezy, Landon, Heath, Bop Boys, nice name. Jose coming quick with the question: is it a good risk to play Halliburton, hoping he gets there in 3 quarters? So this is the first game. You want to just jump into it? Tell me about Indiana, man.
yeah. I mean, they definitely look good here. It is a widespread. I think what we're gonna find, especially on DK, there's only a handful of games that aren't really widespread. So it's like, do you really want to predict blowouts when almost every game can blow out? I'd rather just not. So leaning on the model, he does look really solid. Halliburton kind of slow start to the year. He's been coming into his own for sure. Right as I say, the model likes him. Honestly, he's lower than I thought he would be. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of doing a double take here, but I mean, it is a great matchup. There's no reason he can't hit a ceiling. At the same time, there's so many solid guard value plays on this slate. It's tough for me to call him a priority, especially where he's 30% owned on DK. But yeah, good play for sure. And if, to answer the question, can he get there in 3 quarters? I'd say absolutely. It's just, yeah, how does he compare to the other plays in his range is the real question.
Yeah, I mean he's coming in for 30% on DK, 23 on FanDuel, and yeah, I don't know. I expected a little bit higher DK value, but I actually think this is still not bad considering the blow up possibility, 17-point spread. With that said, I have a ton of Halliburton over on DK. I probably come down after I adjust some value point guards, but right away I can tell that I'm paying up at guard. I have a lot of Donovan Mitchell as well, so we'll see how
Yeah.
that turns out. What about Pascal? I was getting a little bit of him. He's been pretty awful lately, but this is a good matchup. Model has him as elite value, 13 on both sites at modest ownership.
Yeah, I think he's pretty neutral, honestly, where he's priced. I'm fine with him. But I don't think he stands out at that price necessarily.
Only other guys I'm really getting are a little bit of Nemhard and then a couple sprinkles of Miles Turner. Model's going to peg him as elite basically every day. 9.60 off index at the lowish price is good. 16% sounds kind of high. There's 7 games over on DK, so maybe it's not too bad. 3% on FanDuel, 6,900. I'm not really a fan, but Model's saying we can take some shots. Do you like it?
Yeah, I don't mind taking shots. I'm only playing a handful of lineups, just being 100% transparent. I doubt I get there. Pacers are one of these teams that are healthier than most. They're also still kind of playing for something. It is a great matchup, but as Jose brought up, there is a little bit of blowout risk. And Carlisle runs a really deep bench compared to some other coaches. So you can see in the model, the only guys over 30 minutes are Siakam and Halliburton. Other than that, it's just tough to really expect upside.
Uh, Got some Toronto news. Scotty Barnes is out today, and then Grady Dick's out for the season. Unfortunate. I think we wrapped up Indiana. It's not too interesting. Just Halliburton at the top is the main piece. But on the other side, with the Utah Jazz, we're getting some guys with some ownership here. I mean, Bryce Sensabaugh is their best player right now, right? Filipowski probably starting with Kessler out. What do we want to do here?
Yeah, I mean, Filipowski looks good. I definitely see the case for Sensabaugh. My favorite, though, probably is going to be Toshibui again.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, no Walker Kessler. Just pulling up his minutes here. Yeah, I mean, when he's in there for 25, he's usually getting you 25 to 30. I just think as far as value goes, I think he has a decent floor. I actually think we might be under projecting him in terms of minutes at 20.6. So if you bump that up slightly, like you see, he really does climb up in terms of value score. Um, yeah, this is a young team. They're cheap. I think you bring up a good player in Sensabaugh, kind of the hybrid in that whether this game's close or not, he's probably going to be on the floor. He looks really good to me. A little bit surprised he's not even more popular, pushing 15% on both sites. But him and Oscar are really the two I'm favoring. I don't mind Filipowski. At the same time, with the price increase, I don't know, not too excited to get there. One interesting play to me, actually, never mind. I was going to talk about Juzang, but with George Collier and Sexton, and it's not really a thing. So I like the front court. Don't mind Filipowski. Sensabaugh looks good, but I do think Toshibwe is someone I want to be over the field on a little bit, especially on DK where you could play two centers.
I was way too overweight on Juzang that day that Sensabaugh went off. I don't think Juzang had a bad day, but he was like top of value on the model, and he's 3,800, 1% owned. I don't think he's worth 0%, but this, like Nick said, it's not a guy we're going to prioritize getting in, but I don't mind if he shows up a couple percent. But model is giving us Sensabaugh as the big priority, especially over on FanDuel.
Mm-hmm.
As for Schwebe, I think that we all thought he was going to start last time, and then we got late news that he was going to come off the bench. I don't know how much it really reduced what his ownership would have been, but I'm not really expecting him to start tonight. I gave him 25 minutes, so pretty big difference from us, and I'm getting a decent amount. I'm just about with the field, though, at that 25 minutes.
Was Kessler in that game?
I don't think so. You can check 31, 28.
Because obviously, I mean, they could go to Filipowski at the 5, but
no, he was out. Yeah, Kessler missed one of those games that because they did start both of them next to each other, one, and then I think we expected it to happen again, and it didn't.
yeah, I mean, I'd want him to be starting to be as bullish as I kind of hyped him up to be coming off the bench. He's okay to mix in, but not something I'd really want to be even matching the field on at 22%.
And like a note on the overall roster construction today, these first two games I think have a couple pieces, mostly this Utah team, but I don't know, just they're good plays. Be careful, we could get better value opening up later, but this is like guaranteed value that we have now, so just I don't know, balance it.
Yeah, and it's very different between DK and FanDuel. Like the DK slate's pretty condensed, honestly. So I do like these early games more over here. Like the latest game on DK, I think is 8 p.m. Eastern. So you don't have much time to wait for news. On FanDuel, I'd be less likely to kind of get to some of this chalkier value early.
Landon's talking about Booker, and Jose doesn't like it against Boston. Bradley Beal's probably back tonight. Still no KD, but it's an interesting spot. Usage is through the roof, but we mentioned it last time. The whole defense is just focused on stopping Devin Booker at all costs, and we know how he hates getting double teamed.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, with KD in there, I do actually like Booker against the Celtics. I've been preaching all year. Like, when they have a guard that is on a decent team that can create his own shots, those are the guys who are usually good against Boston. Not many guys are. But with KD out, like, they really can just scheme to force guys like Gillespie, Dunn, O'Neal to do all the work here. Even with Beal back, I just don't love it. And again, yeah, Booker, one of these guys who does not like seeing two defenders. And he's going to a lot here for sure.
What was the injury report on? I didn't see Sabonis. Was he just questionable?
Yeah, questionable. That's ankle soreness.
Okay.
So
I saw Mark Williams was a late add to the injury report. We got DFS buddy in the chat, Nurk and Joval, if Sabonis and Williams are out. If Mark Williams is out and Nurkic starts, he's going to be a big piece of what we're doing. I mean, so he put up like 40-something fantasy points. He still didn't get the minutes that even we had him projected for, though, last time. I don't even think he got exactly 20. Or no, not this one. I'm looking at this game. This is the 22-minute game that he started. 45 fantasy points in 22. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I do like him if he's starting here. Again, the ceiling is probably capped on the minutes, but Joval almost the same exact play, but worse. Like Joval's minutes are going to be capped as well. And you think about it, if both of the starting centers are out, these teams could run small, so it could just be a situation to maybe get away from. I will say this: in a lot of those games with Sabonis out, and like we're going back a couple weeks now, Trey Lyles became a thing. So maybe just keep an eye on that. I wouldn't mind maybe mixing him as a very, very cheap value play in large field tournaments. Again, only if Sabonis is out. I'd actually be more comfortable getting to him to Joval. But on the other side, if Nurk starts, he's better than both of them by far.
Got Power telling me that the ringing is pretty high. I appreciate you letting me know. I watched back the streams. I haven't heard that at all. And so I'm just going to hope that everyone's not having to deal with that. I apologize if you are. There's nothing I can do. But let's talk about Sacramento. So we talked about DeMantis a little bit. I mean, a couple tournament shots on Zach LaVine and DeMar is really it for me. You mentioned Trey Lyles too.
Yeah, Lyles only if Sabonis is out. And again, that's a
Mm-hmm.
risky play. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, load up on Trey Lyles. He's somebody get maybe 10%. I'd put him in one of your lineups. And I do think he has more upside than some of the chalky value. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it is a good matchup. Spreads wide, but not as wide as a lot of these other games. You could definitely make a case for guys like DeRozan, Levine. I prefer DeRozan of the two. Would both be better with Sabonis out, obviously. And then Monk, who has been coming off the bench. I'm not as interested anymore, but what that does is slide Keon Ellis into the starting lineup. And I don't know. I think he's overpriced. If he was a little bit cheaper, I'd have some interest. But yeah, mostly just the wings here in Levine and DeRozan. And again, if Sabonis is out, I'd say proceed with caution on Joval. I wouldn't mind mixing in a little bit of Lyles, especially against a team like Charlotte who can go small as well.
I changed a setting on my audio. Let me know if that changed anything. I don't know. As long as it doesn't make it worse, I guess. Other side of this game on Charlotte. Let's see what we have here. Yep, Yusuf Nurkic, and then I don't know, whatever you want to do with Miles Bridges today is what we'll go with. Talk about Charlotte.
Yeah, they've been tricky. I mean, Kenneth Simpson's going to start again. He's been pretty solid playing 30 minutes a night. I think he's useful as a value piece. I won't say he's like a lock or anything like that, but on DK, 7% does feel a little bit low for him in terms of ownership. Bridges is fine. I mean, he did finally spike that ceiling game against Utah. His minutes have been all over the place, though. I'd proceed with caution there. Other than that, it's tough. Yeah, I think I like Simpson a little bit. Other than that, I don't know that there's anyone I'm really prioritizing. Saloon, I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Haven't been watching many Hornets games. He's cheap enough to consider here for sure. Would be even better with Williams out.
Yeah, model really likes Saloon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right either. I heard someone say it, and I'm going with it. But 5% ownership at 3,900, 14 DK value. I don't mind getting slightly over the field on him. As for KJ Simpson, I really hate him when he's chalk. I still play him, but at the low ownership, I'm not even at the 7%, but he is in my exposures. And then, yeah, Nurkic's ownership is probably going to go up to like 30, 40, 50% at once Mark Williams gets ruled out.
Yeah, that's going to be big for sure.
No Miles Bridges for me on DK today. I'd have to bump him up like 6 minutes to even get him in my exposure. So I don't know if we're getting there. Models once again telling us we can just fade him. So I guess we listen to the
Yeah,
model.
he's
On
like the
fan
same price as Denny. So like, I don't know how you play him.
on FanDuel 8,400 at 1%. I think that's a little better to take some shots. If you want to take shots on Miles today, do it over there.
I don't mind it.
Detroit next game. Cade Cunningham. Did we get an update if he's playing or not?
Let's see here. Since 5:30, he is still questionable. Left
You have
calf
a
contusion.
you have a lean? Do we just lean towards he's in?
I mean, I don't know how we do because he's been out for a while, right? I don't know. Did we get word that he'd be back today or anything like that? I don't think they need him to win here. Um,
No.
I'm leaning he's out, honestly. But again, that's not really based on much.
So I built with Cade in, and I'm getting a couple shots on Asar Thompson with Tobias Harris out, and then Jalen Duren as a center pivot. That's about it for me. I was getting Paul Reed earlier, but I made that go away. I will say the model loves him today. I'm trying to see if I can find other options, though.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Paul Reed. Like he's good on when he's on the floor. It's just the minutes have been all over the place. But yeah, Cade obviously matters here. If he's out, we probably see Schroeder get the start again. Schroeder is priced up, so I wouldn't be rushing to him necessarily. But with Harris out as well, there is some extra usage to go around. Malik Beasley, Oscar Thompson, probably my two preferred options here. Priced appropriately though. And yeah, I guess Tim Hardaway is hot right now, but the price is up on him to a point where I don't know that I want to go there in the same breath, three straight games over 30 fantasy points for old Timmy here. Maybe worth a look at 1% owned if Cade is out in a good matchup, but I never feel good about playing him.
I'm trying to look at the rotation with Duren and Reed. We have Reed projected for 18 minutes. He's never played 18 minutes one time back in January. I don't think we can project him for 18, and I think the whole industry might be over projecting him. Last game, him and Duren split minutes. Duren played 33 and a half. Paul Reed played 14 and a half. What did we have Duren for? 29? I'd be more interested in giving Duren a couple more minutes. I know the price really came up, but I don't know. Paul Reed has not been the guy that we're expecting him to be. I just think he's kind of overprojected. Keep in mind, if you're going to reduce his minutes, you have to reduce the values too, because these are all correlated. But like I said, I probably still get there. But if I can find other options, I think I'm going to go for that.
Yeah, I don't really want to get there, honestly. And like I said, I don't think they need to go big here after Duran. I would much rather play Jalen than get to any Paul Reed, honestly.
And as for Schroeder's price, let's keep an eye on what the model thinks. I can't imagine the model is going to bump him up to elite territory, though, even if we give him like an extra 7, 8, 9 minutes. But we'll see what the model thinks if we get that news. Mark Williams just got ruled out, so we do have Nurkic,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
assuming
you
he
got,
starts. Yeah.
yeah, and that makes fading Paul Reed even easier.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Toronto on the other side of this game, though, they're without Grady Dick, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Ochai Agbaji. They do have Quickly available today. So he's doing that play 3/4 thing. His usage is sky high. The 7,500 price is a lot harder to get to now, though. Model still has him as pretty dang good at 27 minutes, though. What were you looking at Toronto? Any of the role players?
Yeah, if he was a little bit cheaper, I'd have some interest. At this price, I don't think I can do it. Jacoby Walter probably going to get the start again. I don't mind using him as a value piece. Don't know that he has a ton of upside, but it's like a last piece in. He does make some sense. They haven't raised his price as quickly as they have with some of the other value on the slate. So for that reason alone, he does stand out a little bit. If Mogbo does get the start, even next to Podol, he's kind of similar to Walter for me in a different position. I don't think either of these guys are like smash plays or anything like that, but they are cheap enough and they are seeing consistent minutes, which is more than you can say for someone like Paul Reed, for example. So yeah, I don't mind Walter, Markbo. Those are two I'll probably get some exposure to. Battle drawing more ownership than I think either of them are. I'll just stay away from that one. No battle for me. I do like Walter and Markbo. That's pretty much it for me from Toronto.
It happened again a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned how much we hated Battle on stream, Smitty and I. And then I left him in my pool and I had like 2 shares. He absolutely ended up in my best lineup that night. It happened again yesterday or whatever the last time Battle was on the slate. It's super annoying. Models identifying him as a strong value, which kills me because I don't want him to be. I'm going to be below the field either way. I'm sure this ownership comes down though as other value opens up, but I don't know. I feel like this is a spot we can kind of ignore the model, but we know how ignoring the model's gone recently. As for the other guys, I think they're mix-ins. I would just go by the model and follow that.
Yeah, I mean, Battle's had a lot of opportunities to start recently. I mean, his ceiling seems. He had that one game where he hit like 27 fantasy points, but if you want him to get you 20 and you're in a small field, or you're playing cash or something like that, he is useful. But I just don't know that he has a ton of upside. And what we've seen these last few slates is you need every spot to really go off to have a chance to take something down. So yeah, no Battle for me here.
My apologies. I should have refreshed the model before we started talking about it, but I don't know if Jacoby Walters went up or down, but he doesn't stand out as much with the rest of the team now. Mobo at the top of value. I'm a little more comfortable with him. I think you don't mind him as much, right?
Yeah, I like
In
Momo.
general. Yeah, and then Battle came up even more, dude. Ownership came up. I'm going to advocate to kind of get away if you can, but if he's the last guy in, I mean, the model says it's great, so.
Yeah, I get it. I'm going to try to get away from it though.
AJ Lawson came up at 5% ownership. There's the pivot. I feel like I'd be more comfortable taking a few shots on Lawson than getting to the field on Battle.
Yeah, for your style of play, MME, I do think he's someone who's useful, especially at that price, even cheaper than Battle too.
My style of play, playing bad guys and hoping they do something.
I mean, I'm a single entry guy. I play my 5 to 10 lineups, and when you're doing that, it's just always tough to click on someone like Battle. But obviously, you're
Yeah.
trying to cover a lot of these high upside outcomes, and I don't know, to fit in an extra stud, a guy like Jameson Battle does work his way in.
So we had Colin Gillespie kind of show up for DFS purposes a little bit last time. Did you think Beal gets back into the starting lineup right away? He should, right?
Um, I don't know, only because they like to bring him off the bench.
Okay.
Whenever Booker's not on the floor, they need Beal on the floor. Otherwise, they're pretty much useless offensively with KD out. So I don't know. I think there's a world where he starts. There's also a world where it's Gillespie, Dunn, O'Neal, Richards again. Um, but yeah, something to keep an eye on. I think either way, the only Suns player I'm at all interested in, I don't even know if there is one. So I'm sitting here kind of clicking through. Just not a good matchup. Beal coming back, it does cut into the usage for some of these guys. Prices have adjusted with KD being out. And again, Booker would normally look pretty good in a spot like this, but he's going to get double teamed by one of the better defensive teams in the league. So I'm not all that interested in much of Phoenix.
Yeah, I think over on FanDuel, I'd have a little bit more interest, just like shares. But on DK, I have 3% total exposure, two lineups with Book, one with Gillespie. That probably even goes away before lock, but no one stands out. Gillespie is a good value, 0 and 1% owned. You guys know the deal. We don't play a ton of him. And then Royce O'Neal, he's there on DK at 8%. I don't hate it. There's probably better options, though. We only have him projected to play 22 minutes. But if you think he gets a few more minutes, like this is already a good value score for that. So just increase it accordingly.
Yeah.
Other side, Boston. My boy, Jason Tatum, man. This guy can put up 70 or 40. There's no in between. It's basically just him and Jaylen Brown for me, a couple shares. No one stands out on the model. Tatum, good OF index as always, but were you looking at anyone here more closely?
No, and again, it's because they're getting healthy or they're not resting as many guys. Jalen's questionable. If he's out, I probably will get a little bit more Boston. But it's been a while since we've had KP, Porzingis, Jalen, and Horford available. Right now, as long as Jalen Brown's in, that's going to be the situation here. So again, I just think they're a little bit overpriced. Do they have upside? Sure. But are you going to pick from that group which guy it's going to be? I'd rather not try to hit two variables for my upside if I'm paying that much for some of these guys. Tatum at 11K is just a no for me, even if Brown's out, honestly. The ceiling's definitely there, but on a slate like this, Denny might be my favorite play. We'll talk about him in a minute. I think kind of going balanced, getting a couple 9K guys on DK, this is more than paying all the way up, is probably the way to go. And then over on FanDuel, you're going to have someone like Joker, we'll talk about later. Obviously, if you're paying all the way up, I'd much rather get to him at low ownership than a Tatum. But again, when on these late season slates, when a team's healthy, it's tough to find value. It's really in any price range.
I mean, again, yeah, I think we just stick to the pay ups. Maybe Gillespie if you think the model like
Yeah.
super correct about him, but other than that, I mean, no one stands out. This next game though, we got a. I mean, I was about to call that Phoenix Boston game competitive. It won't be. But OKC Houston, we got a 1 seed and a 2 seed. Someone mentioned SGA finally has good competition. Maybe he'll play the whole game. They did do something weird with SGA's rotation. I don't know if it applies tonight, but I've never seen this before. Usually he plays the whole third quarter, checks in for the last 6 or 7 minutes of the game, depending on how it's going. But he started the fourth quarter, played minutes, and then subbed out when the game was, won already. So I thought that was kind of odd. Just we don't always know what's going to go on with SGA's minutes. We always lean towards the lower side because that's what they've been doing. But I like him tonight. Model thinks he's good. Points per dollar, not outstanding, but for OF index, he's one of the highest on the slate. What do you want to do with SGA?
Yeah, on TK, I like him a lot. On FanDuel, I think there's a few comparable plays, but he's unowned, so he definitely makes sense in tournaments over there. I mean, it's rare we get him in competitive games playing his full minutes, and it's also a bit of a benefit that he won't be dealing with Dylan Brooks here, who's going to be suspended. Usually, he stays glued to SGA a lot of the time. Not that SGA doesn't overcome that a lot of the time, but it does boost this matchup slightly in a way that I don't know is being fully quantified across the industry. So I like SGA here plenty. If you can afford him. At the same time, I do think he's expensive. It's easier to live in the 9K range for your payups. But again, we don't have many competitive games on this slate or for the rest of the season. You can get these studs in these spots. The upside is there. We've seen it a lot recently. So, yeah, definitely fine getting to him.
It's weird. Like I have a weird bias against Chet, the same that I do against Porzingis, and it's not that I dislike him in real life. It's just for fantasy, I don't like him, even though I know they can spike ceilings. Chet, 13.8 value, 13.6 on FanDuel is pretty strong with a double-digit OF index at the price. Like this should be a fine play. I'm slightly under the field. I don't feel good about it. I'm not touching it though. I'm just going to leave it as it is. You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm pretty neutral on him.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar bias, though, I will say.
I don't get it.
Coming off
Yeah.
a huge game, though, he has looked pretty good, but uh, yeah, definitely a tougher matchup, I think, than dealing with Detroit's front court of just Durant.
And I'll mention Lou Dort and Kason Wallace stand out in value today. They don't every day. And so on the days that they do, I'm pretty interested in taking shots at these low ownerships,
I
like
love
both of
Case and
them.
Wallace. Yeah.
Okay, nice. That's the guy I'm getting to more of, even though Lou Dort's a little higher at the same price.
Yeah, Dort, I mean, he's a great NBA player. You want him on your team, great defender, but doesn't always score well for fantasy. Wallace has been super consistent in relative terms. Like, he's still not the most consistent value play, but I like what he's been doing lately. I mean, we only have him for 25 minutes. He's played more than that, I think, every game the past 3 weeks. So, no reason not to suspect he could be even better than we're projecting right now. Decent spot for him, too. yeah, if the attention's on Shea, he's another guy who could benefit. And at 4,200 on DK, I think he's too cheap. 54 on FanDuel, probably don't get there, especially with the extra games. But on DraftKings, 2% for him seems wrong. I definitely want to get over that.
I agree. And I'll just mention Jalen Williams. I actually am slightly over this 9%. We didn't talk him up much, but 13.0 value on both sides is good. 10.6 OF index is really strong, 8,100. I don't mind it as long as he stays in single digit ownership. Other side of this game, Houston. I thought I'd get a little bit more ownership. I tried to bump some guys, but once again, and I see a question in the chat, Tari Eason, I'm over the field on him every single day. I do not care who's in. I don't care if he's starting or off the bench. He's an awesome play. 14.1 DK value at the 29 minutes we have him projected for. Same on FanDuel. FanDuel, again, the ownership's kind of high, but more comfortable getting to him over on that DK at 17%. What are you doing with him?
Yeah, I like him. He's volatile, but his ceiling and his price is kind of tough to match. Definitely want to mix him in. They're losing Dylan Brooks again tonight, but Fred VanVleet's back, so I don't know. I think he's kind of priced appropriately. So this, I don't want to call him like a core play necessarily, but I do think the upside's there. Van Fleet feels a little bit too cheap over on both sides, honestly. Don't mind mixing him in. Can say the same for Jalen Green. Thompson feels overpriced, but we know what he's capable of. Honestly, all five of these starters are somewhat appealing to me. And I think we would be doing a disservice if we didn't at least mention Jabari Smith as a pivot. A little bit cheaper. He's been spiking upside as well lately, playing about 27 minutes per game. With Brooks out, could run into a few minutes here as well. So I like the starters. Don't know that I even have a favorite necessarily. Maybe it is Eason actually, but I don't mind Smith as a pivot. I think he's underowned comparatively speaking.
I tried to bump all these guys into my exposures. Jabari, I like that pivot. I couldn't get there though at the price. And then Amon and Fred VanVleet, I'm still getting 0, and I gave them each like 3 extra minutes. It's just so hard to get them, given the other guys on the slate. And even Tari, I had to force in. So, and then Jalen Green and Sengun, I'm getting about 5% of both of those guys. Just pay up tournament plays. Fred VanVleet,
Yeah.
16 DK value. I didn't even notice that earlier. That's insane.
Yeah, he's just too cheap. I mean, he doesn't always shoot. Like, there's games where he decides I'm only a point guard. That's it, which is kind of frustrating. But I think in this spot, I mean, he's going to get open looks. So I don't know. Someone I want to get to played 39 minutes against the Lakers. He's 100% healthy. Yeah, I do like Van Fleet here at his price.
I think I bet on him to score over 15.5 points today earlier. Seemed like a good
He's
one.
a PRA guy for me. I never know which Van Fleet shows up, the point guard or the shooter. But yeah, I don't hate it. It's a good spot.
Tybal's no Kamara. It's no man.
God.
Kamara is like the perfect cell version of Tybal.
Yeah.
CW, your dog is going nuts from the whistling or whatever. That's a really funny thing. That's not, or if that's true or whether it's not. Talked about Tari power. No, it doesn't sound dumb at all. You repaired aircraft in the Air Force. I have an electromagnetic field buildup. I have too many cord speakers. I have 100 stuff on my desk. So actually, that gives me something to think about. I appreciate you mentioning that once again. Thank you. If Simons is out, we're going back to Denny, Sharp, and Banton. Sounds like the move, right?
Yeah, and it's funny. I was pretty low on Banton, and I thought I was the smartest guy ever in the first half, and then he kind of went off in the second half. But Denny and Sharp are absolute smash plays for me, regardless. Like, I don't know. I'd rather play them over Simons, even if Simons is in.
Yeah, Simons, I think he kind of got back to being the man for a couple weeks there, but nope, he is not the man. This is Denny's team. This is Shaden's team after Denny's at that. Simons might be their third best player. Getting exposure to Klingon too. That's about all I'm getting here, though. Is there any of the other role players you're interested in?
I mean, if Simons is in, no, not really. Again, I think Denny might be my favorite play on the entire slate. I know he's not as, I don't know, appealing in the model as maybe he has been a few days earlier in the week now that he's priced over 9K. But this is such a good matchup. And yeah, it does feel like his team right now. I'm just going to continue to play him as much as I can. And Sharp for me, definitely second in line. I don't mind mixing in the others. But yeah, off the bench, there's just not much I'm interested in at all. But yeah, Denny, probably my favorite play tonight, period.
If Kamara's out, are we adjusting anyone in the back, or are we just kind of giving a little bit more to maybe Avdia and Sharp?
I mean, Tybal might start again, but even back when Tybal would start every day for Philly and whoever the hell else he's played for, I never liked playing this guy. He's just defense first, kind of similar to Lou Dort, except worse offensively. So it's really tough for him to fall into value. So no, it would just be a little bit more of the other starters.
I remember before Tybalt was at the top of value every single day last season, and he was min priced, and he got there once in a few games. I don't
Yeah.
think we have to take the risk at all anymore. And then I just want to mention Avdia's value scores aren't that high. They're not terrible, but the OF index 11.8 is still pretty strong, even with the price coming up. Pretty comfortable getting over the field. I'm not getting like 50% though, like I have been the last few slates with him.
I maybe it finally burns me, but I've been on the Denny train all week. I'm gonna continue to ride it, and hopefully, in a matchup like this, it's a good thing. I don't see how it won't be.
I'm getting a decent chunk of Klingon too. I'm not sure if that's going to stay, but maybe I can swap off that. And I haven't reran with Nurkic either, so maybe that goes away too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more confident in the spot here for Klingon than some of these other matchups. I mean, he tends to get his regular minutes against bigger front courts, and Vooch does kind of put this matchup into that category. So I don't mind Klingon.
Let's see. We have the other side of this game, Chicago. I mean, I'm on Modest again. Josh Giddey's good. Tell me about Chicago.
Yeah, Lonzo's questionable all of a sudden. I don't think he's going to play. Same with Javon Carter. These guys have been out. If they were to come back, I mean, it could kind of muddy up some of this backcourt rotation. Still no Trey Jones or Ayo, though. I mean, Giddy looks fine to me. I'm a little bit surprised he's as high as he is in the model here. Denny a little bit cheaper, rating worse. I don't know. For me, I'm a little bit confused by that. At the same time, I mean, we've seen the ceilings out of Giddy. He's certainly get there. Fine getting to Kobe White as well. Herder missed a little bit of time. I think some of those bigger modest games came with him out. He's back, but I'm fine getting to either. Probably wouldn't want both in the same lineup, though. I do think they're both spacers, and they're kind of, I don't know. If one gets hot, they're going to get the looks. So one of Herder or Buzelis is a rule I might maybe set. Don't mind any of the starters here, except Vooch. And I've been pretty bullish on Vooch. I just don't really love the spot for him here necessarily. Um, so yeah, I like the guards. Don't mind Buzelis or Herder. Wouldn't want those two in the same lineup.
I did get about 7% of Vooch over on DK before rerunning, so that tells me that I'm going to get some in my exposures at the 9%. I mean, he's back up towards 8K, and I kind of thought that was the appropriate price for him for a while. It's just harder to get to a guy that's appropriately priced because we have value guys that are inappropriately priced. But
Right.
getting a couple shares of Zach Collins, too. He's 8% owned on DK, and the model actually thinks he's the best value on this team, so I think I'm going to keep that.
I mean, I will say I like him more than Paul Reed.
Yes, I agree.
That's about the extent of it for me.
Yeah.
It is technically a revenge game for him, right? He used to play for Portland, but
Just real, like on that
not
Paul
that that
Reed,
matters.
like Paul Reed still has a higher ceiling, you think, right? If the minutes break the right way.
I guess, but like to your point, the minutes haven't broken the right way once this season.
Like, what would it take? Foul trouble for Duran. That's it, right?
Um,
It's basically the
if,
only thing,
yeah, foul trouble
which
for
is
Duran,
possible.
and yeah, and if Podol plays more minutes than he's been playing lately, which I don't think happens either.
We'll go to this last game on DK, Cleveland, San Antonio. What do we have? What are we at? 14, 15 point spread, something like that. It's not
Sounds
too
about
bad.
right.
I've mentioned I really like targeting Spurs lately, and for some reason I don't mind targeting the Cavs. This is a really high total game. We're at over 140 or 240, sorry, 242. I mentioned I'm getting a decent chunk of Donovan Mitchell. Not getting too much of anyone else, but I am getting exposure to everyone. What about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Yeah, they still have no Sochan, which obviously matters. I wish we just would get Sandro starting. Like he would be probably my favorite center on the slate. I think he's still viable here, even coming off the bench. It's weird. I like the starters, but I'm almost more interested in some of these bench guys. Like Champagne getting a few extra minutes here could go a long way. I think Keldon's questionable. Would definitely secure that, even coming off the bench if Keldon's out. Him and Sandro to me are kind of solid as far as tournament plays go, and it feels really, really gross. But I do think Harrison Barnes at 3,800, someone you could mix in as well as like a last piece in. Probably not getting any love. Let me check. Oh wow, never mind. 20% owned almost on DK. I thought I was
Mm-hmm.
sharp for a second there. Yeah, maybe not. But like I said, I think Champagne and Mamu are pretty interesting tournament plays, especially if Keldon ends up out.
Yeah, and Mamu is a tournament play. This is a wide range of outcomes, man. He played 19 minutes in the game. He put up three, put up 11 and 17 a couple games ago. If he's playing well, he'll play himself into a couple more minutes. He looked good. I know we all watched that game last time because that was the best DFS game ever. He was doing it. I didn't hate it. Ownership
Yeah.
is a little high, though. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's a little eerie to see that 24. I do think if Keldon's out, he's someone I'd still want to get to.
I want to see if that comes down with Nurkic news.
It has to.
Sandro. It's at 22, 0 on FanDuel, which he probably should be 0 on FanDuel.
It came down 2%. Yeah.
And then what did you do with Chris Paul? Because his value score is kind of high. 26-minute projection, 20% ownership on DK.
It burned me a little bit last time, obviously, against Denver. They had nobody, though. But I've been kind of low on Chris Paul, even at this super discounted price. To me, he's pretty much Mike Conley for a little bit more. Like, he's only out there to, I don't know, it's different because Minnesota's actually decent. But yeah, he's not going to play as many minutes as anyone else out of these starters. So I don't know. I just have a bias against guys who aren't getting their normal run. Even as the price comes down, I'm just having issue getting to him with any sort of consistency. Like we saw it. Who was the guy we were talking about earlier? Ban. Like with Simons out, we knew the minutes were going to be there. He had a terrible first half, and he kind of saved it in the second half. For someone like Chris Paul, if he has a poor first half, you're kind of just screwed because you're only going to get like 13 minutes on the back end. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong for it, but I've just been really low on Chris Paul for these last few weeks.
I mentioned Harrison Barnes is showing up as a strong value again. He is pulling the ownership today, though. He's up to 15%. He was just way too low on last time. This might be more like this is more appropriate than whatever he came in for last time. And then Champagne. I don't know. What are we doing with Champagne? Is he starting?
I don't think he will. Um, it's probably Paul Castle, Vassell, Barnes, Bismack. But like I said, I'm fine getting the Champagne. Barnes was out playing out of his mind, and again, they had nobody available that game, so we can't really look too much at that Denver game. Um, but yeah, you can make a case for any of these guys. The total's so damn high, and Champagne is probably safe in a blowout. I wouldn't say Barnes is at all. He's obviously one of the vets on this team.
I try to do a quick rerun with some of that news, and I'm actually getting more Stephon Castle than I was before, and now he's the guy I'm getting the most from this team. His price came up, but we know he has the highest ceiling here. 14 and 16% ownership. Model's not super into it, doesn't hate him, though. Are you comfortable getting over on Castle?
Yeah, I do like him. He spiked the ceiling frequently the past couple of weeks. Again, he's playing a lot more minutes than Chris Paul. High usage, consistently over 30%, which for him I think matters more than some other players. I like it a lot. Yeah, he's maybe my favorite Spur if I'm above 5K. Like I said, I do like a lot of this value as kind of guys to mix in though.
I don't know if we mentioned Lonzo is out.
Good. I don't know
Is that
why
a
he would
thing?
even. Yeah, he was upgraded to questionable at one point, but he should just sit.
We didn't talk about Cleveland, right?
No.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier Donovan and then shares of everyone. I was getting a lot of DeAndre Hunter. Model thinks he's a really strong value at 4,100 today. There's no Ty Jerome, but I guess Dean Wade's out too, so that could open up a few more minutes for him. What do you think about Cleveland?
They're fine. I think even without Jerome though, they're kind of healthy, like relatively speaking. I mean, I don't know. You can make a case for Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, Allen. I just think they're priced where they should be. Struess, okay. There's much better value on the slate though. The Hunter play is interesting. I mean, he hasn't really been playing consistent minutes, but when he's on the floor, he definitely has upside. You'd think there'd be a boost there with Jerome out, but they've been giving more minutes to guys like Okoro and Merrill, which I'm not excited to play either of those two. It's just, I don't know, kind of been flat distribution of those Jerome minutes. So I don't know. All these guys look okay. I love the total here, but I can't sit here and say there's one guy that really stands out.
CW is asking about Merrill for a punt. Yeah, Merrill's for sure a model approved punt today. 16.6 DK value at 3,500, 5% owned. We can take shots for sure. I'm getting at least to the 5% on Merrill today.
Yeah, he's been shooting terribly, and he's known as like a great 3 point shooter. If those shots start to fall, he's going to be excellent. And he is taking them. He's just cold right now. So again, he could get hot here. Pretty good matchup. Don't mind it. But certainly boomer bust. His floor is very low.
We also have Nick Smith out for Charlotte. Not sure if we mentioned that. So with the refresh, Yusuf Nurkic is the top value on the slate. Steph Curry stands out a lot. I know Nurkic's ownership is going to come up. I'm not sure what Seth's ownership is going to come up to. Saloon, elite value. Josh Okogie, elite value that might go overlooked by the rest of the field. We'll see what these ownerships adjust to, but definitely more interested in getting to these top four guys. And KJ still stands out as elite value. Like I mentioned earlier, if he's low owned, I don't mind taking shots, but my priorities from the Charlotte Hornets now are going to be these four guys.
Yeah, I think I trust KJ more than Curry for sure.
Okay.
But keep it on the ownership. Like if no one's playing either for the discount, Curry does look really solid. Nurk is the clear core play though, in my opinion. Fine mixing in all these guys, but even with someone out, like it's still tough to kind of project these minutes. They haven't really been consistent at all with their rotations. Like Bridges could play 40 or he could play 20, and that makes a big difference for everyone else.
I want to mention that these minutes are probably too high for Nurkic, but even if we play it very conservatively and project him for 20 minutes, it's 20% reduction. Just reduce these numbers by 20%. 16.0 DK value still really strong. I don't know if we project Seth Curry for 30 minutes, so kind of the same thing. But these guys are still going to be some of the best values on the slate.
Yep.
Eason over Asar Thompson. For me, I just think Tari hits his ceiling a lot more often than Asar, and even Tari's bad games are better than Asar's bad games.
Yeah, I'm with it.
And Vassell, yeah, we gave Vassell no love. He kind of just, I mean, he's a GPP play. I don't think he stands out in any way. Model isn't identifying him as anything. 8.6 OF index is good, though. Like, he's not a bad play. It's not a guy that I would have more than a few percent of.
Yeah, I mean, they're really trying to develop Castle right now, in my opinion. And I know we've kind of talked a little bit about how usage might be slightly overrated in DFS as a stat, but for two guys that are always on the floor together, Castles is like 10 to 50% higher every single game. So right now, at the same price, I just much rather get the Castle.
I like this question from Jose. Do we like SGA over Halliburton? So I have more Halliburton in my exposures, but I'm more over the field on SGA. So I guess I do. Like I'm still over on Hallie, but I'm well over on SGA. And maybe his ownership comes up after all that value we just got to. SGA 13%. Yeah, I'm still double that.
Yeah, in a vacuum, if you have the salary, I do prefer SGA.
And then did we like DeRozan? I like DeRozan right now. Yeah, it seems like he's kind of taken over. His assists are sky high, which is really good. And it not shooting threes sucks, but I like him. He's fine.
Yeah, yep, for sure.
Let's knock out FanDuel, Denver, and Golden State. So go ahead, Nick. Talk about Denver.
Yeah, so taking a look at Denver, they rested a bunch of guys after they played seven overtimes. Still some questionable tags here. Murray, Strother, Watson. Gordon is probable. Jokic is probable. I said this the last time Jokic was on the slate, and the game went to double OT, which made me feel really smart. But yeah, he was way too low owned. Got over 70 fantasy points. I think he's once again way too low owned here over on FanDuel. Obviously, Nurkic looks like the cash play at center now. If you're trying to get different, though, just pay up for 5% on Jokic in a competitive matchup against the Golden State team that is on a back to back. I think he should do well here. And if Murray's out, even more so. We've seen he really spikes the ceiling some of those games without Jamal Murray. Other than that, it's interesting. I think Aaron Gordon, either way, is going to look good. He hasn't been playing well, just hasn't been shooting that well. But that could change very quickly, so I'm fine mixing him in. But then the Murray news kind of depends on how I handle everything else. The price on Russ came way up. If Murray's out, I still want to get to him. At the same time, if Murray's in, I think 8K is tough to stomach. That's DK though. What is he over on FanDuel? Because he's not even on the DK, so 7K. Okay, yeah. I mean, he's playable on FanDuel, but I'd much rather get to him if Murray's out. Jokic for me though, really strong tournament play, and it's the best player in the league, so it's not a hot take. But at 5%, maybe it is. Oh, and then Golden State.
No, sorry. You guys know the deal. Just be ready to swap if we get some weird news from Denver. What I'll mention about Jokic versus like the other payups, SGA, maybe even Hallie, is that we have a lot more value centers than we have value guards, and so that's going to drive down Jokic's ownership too. So from a lineup construction point of view, it's probably better to pay down at center today, but that's what the field's doing. If you want to get contrarian, for sure, pay up for Jokic. We're not going to tell you not to do that. Steve Kerr said everyone's absolutely playing tonight, so I'm not expecting anyone to sit. Were you?
No, but Butler's banged up for sure.
Okay.
He was in the locker room for a while. He did come back in. He's the gamer when he wants to play, which is funny because when he doesn't, he doesn't play at all. But when he wants to play, he'll probably get in there. But I would not be shocked by a late Butler scratch, so just keep an eye on that. Curry, him, and Payton are all questionable. I would be shocked if Curry didn't play. But yeah, you can mix in all these starters. Kaminga's back. He actually looked really good. But yeah, it's tough to really call anything a priority again as this team gets healthy. Pods was in his bag last night. He has been in back-to-back games. I don't mind getting to a little bit of him, but again, just a healthier team than most of what we're dealing with on this slate. I do like that this is a competitive game with a high total, but it's tough for me to really say one guy is going to be the priority. Looking at ownership quickly, I will say Steph is under owned. Same
Yep.
story as Joker. 3% is just crazy. And again, I don't know that he's a guard I'd want to play in one lineup over, say, Halliburton or SGA. But if you're looking for ways to get different, I mean, Curry's a pretty damn good one.
I agree. I don't think I'm playing Curry over Halliburton in a single lineup, but in my set of lineups, I absolutely am going to get to some lineups with Steph as the pivot. That comment I said about everyone's playing, they're not intentionally resting anyone. If someone's hurt, they're not going to force him to play, but they're not sitting anyone just because.
Right.
I agree. Kuminga, Pods, and Draymond, I think all look fine at the ownership. Jimmy, I'm a little more hesitant on, but even if I start with that Jimmy exposure, I can swap it off as the night goes on.
Yeah, I think he's playing hurt and he's kind of deferring when he has the ball. So I'm not going to play Jimmy over 8K.
This Dallas LAC game, I don't think is that interesting. I think we can get through it pretty quickly. I ran some quick FanDuel lineups and I got no exposure here. I know I was terrible analysis about Anthony Davis last time, so I'll let you take away Dallas real quick.
Yeah, I forget who it was. Someone called you out on that, but hey, we've all
Yep,
been wrong plenty of
I'll
times
own it,
this
dude.
year.
My bad.
Yeah, I love to hold the L. I mean, there's nobility in that. But yeah, I don't know that there's anything that stands out here. Dinwiddie's been playing really well. I think at his price, if he's low owned, you can mix him in. Again, most reason to get to this game is just so you have flexibility if we do get some weird late news. But on the Dallas side, really no priorities. I think AD's fine at his price, but again, not something I'm rushing to. Then on the Clippers side, they're getting pretty healthy. I do think Kawhi would be maybe my favorite from the group. You can make a case for Harden, but again, where they're priced, they're just tough to call priorities. I mean, we have a lot of plays in the 9K range we've been talking about. None of these are really on top of that list for me.
I'll just mention I really like Dinwiddie right now. I think his usage is so high, and Jason Kidd really likes him. 6,100. This is elite OF index for the price. Super elite value. This is for the night slate on DK, but on FanDuel, 15 FD value at 10% seems fine. We just got really dumb news. So
Okay.
Demantis is in, Cade Cunningham is out, and Denny is a late Q tag.
Okay, well, if Simons is in, he's a smash. Shady on Sharp. It will now be my new favorite play on the slate with
Yep.
Denny as the Lakey tech.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't want to overdo it with these other guys. Like I like Kamara, I like Klingon. I just don't think there's consistent upside for them given their style of play. If Simons is out and Banton starts, he's certainly a smash. But Sharp for me becomes the most interesting now.
And then we'll go back to that. We'll see what the model thinks in a minute if it updates, but you might just have to join the Q&A fellows for that update. Jayhawk's going to be starting in there in about 10 minutes or right now, I guess. I don't know. Again, I think the Clippers' big three are tournament plays, Zubac, Harden, and Kawhi. I have no problem getting to any of them. Model likes Zubac the most, then Kawhi, and then Harden, but they all seem okay.
Agree.
Yeah, nothing else on Clippers. It's just not that interesting of a game.
No, they're like the Celtics of the West. There's a couple good plays here, but do you know which one it's going to be? Probably not.
And then from the Pelicans, I still don't get why Jose's pulling 32% ownership. Like, his minutes haven't been max. He's been playing awful. He's 5,600. Model still thinks he's a good value, and if he was lower owned, I'd say we can get over. I don't hate it. Antonio Reeves, I definitely don't understand the ownership, but I'm not going to tell you I hate it either because the model loves him today. What else were you looking at on the Pelicans?
I mean, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate on the Alvarado thing. I think he's a good play on FanDuel at 5,600. Five 3-point attempts last game, made none of them. 7 the game before, only made 1. He has 30% usage in back-to-back games. He's taking the shots. He's given the opportunities. He's pushing 30 minutes. He's just not making them. So if they start to fall, he's very quickly going to be one of the better value plays on the entire slate. Will they? I don't know. But at 5,600, I mean, he's been getting there even without his shots falling. 10 assists last game. Obviously, love to see that. I don't know. I think he's just a little bit too cheap on FanDuel. And if this game is even a little bit competitive, he's probably someone who has a really good game.
Just mentioned Eve Missy's value is falling a little bit. Still good, not the great one that he's been. And I'll mention Keon Brooks' name. Still a fan of him. Elf Payton kind of stands out on DK Night Slate at 3,500. Can take a couple percent shots on him. Other side of this game, my Lakers, I'm getting exposure to LeBron. I'm pretty sure it's only due to his position, though, and being a pay up at the forward position. Not really much else here. I'm not that interested in much else, though, are you?
No, we talked a little bit before stream. Lucas seems a little off right now, but LeBron's kind of picking up that slack. So I do like LeBron. I think he's a pretty solid pay up option if you do need to get something in this game. Otherwise, the minutes have been all over the place. I mean, Reeves has been playing well as well. Not to use well twice in the same sentence, but yeah, the price is just kind of prohibitive. So I'm really not rushing to get to him. I'm comfortable not getting too much Luca here, especially on the back to back. I think LeBron's the one play I have interest in. And I'd love to play some Jackson Hayes. It's just he's kind of falling out of the rotation with Rui back, and Rui is out tonight. But against the Pels, I don't think they need to play big. So proceed with caution. Probably just LeBron from these Lakers for me.
Yeah, on FanDuel, Austin Reeves, we can take shots at that 2% ownership by the model. And then Jackson Hayes on the DK night slate at 4,200. I can't imagine he's going to be popular at all. So he should be a low owned guy we can play on the DK night.
Yeah, with Rui out, there is a chance he runs into more minutes. If they were playing a bigger team, I'd have more confidence in that, though.
Is Malik Monk out for the Kings, or he's just not starting anymore?
He
Keon
hasn't been
Ellis is
starting.
starting. Okay, Keon Ellis is starting, and then Kamara's out. Jeremy Grant's out. Duop Reith is out. Someone asked if this is good for Klingon. This is good for Klingon with Reith being out. Like I said, if he can keep his hands to himself, dude, we need to see a minute ceiling from this guy. I'm pretty sure he's physically capable of playing 30 minutes.
Yeah, I like Klingon a lot more now, knowing that Reed's out.
I
And you
was
said
already
Kamara's
way
out too.
over. Yeah,
Is Simons
Kamara's
out?
out. Simons and Avdia are still game time decisions, which is super annoying. But I mean, just play whoever's in from this team, right? We know who we
Yeah,
like.
play all the sharp either way, and then if either of those two are in, play a lot, and if they're both out, just play even more sharp. Honestly,
Yeah, Denny
and
was a
Banton
late.
too.
Yeah, and Banton. Denny was a late ad, and then we just got an update right now that they're still game time decisions. Seth and Nurkic are starting. We already know the model loves Nurkic. Can we knock out a super quick dummy here, Nick?
Yeah.
Let's do Nurkic at center.
What else?
Sharp, I guess. We're probably playing him
Oh
either
yeah,
way.
absolutely get sharp. I just refreshed. Sharp for sure. Man, some weird ownership now.
Schwebe? Take up two center spots.
Go clinging.
Let's go Klingon. Do we want to put in Hallie?
I kind of want to go SGA, but
Let's
I'm
do.
fine with that.
Let's see if we can fit SGA. We should have the value. We have
My
5,200
sneak,
left.
my sneaky value is Case and Wallace. I love him
I
tonight.
love Case on Wallace. I saw someone ask about 4,100 left for last man in. If you can somehow find another 100 to get to Case on, I really like that.
Oh
Very
hell yeah,
comfortable with him as the last guy in.
yeah.
I mean, some other guys in my exposures: Tari Eason, Bryce Sensabaugh,
Sensible.
Stefan Castle.
I throw Sensible in there.
Dude, I still have Battle. I docked him so much, and he still shows up. It's just we need a cheap player like Battle. If you can find a pivot to Jameson Battle, find it. But I guess I'm just going to be playing some, so please have a good game today.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who's that cheap. That's even.
Hunter? DeAndre Hunter?
Is he that cheap?
4,100 on DK.
That's not bad.
Let's plug
I'd
him in
probably
and
play him over Battle. Yeah.
yeah, I'd rather pay the extra 500 to DeAndre. At least we're confident he's a better basketball player than Battle.
That's true.
That would leave us 7,600 for like a Pascal at forward or Chet Holmgren upgrade someone else. Anyone else you want to mention that you would consider close to this that you would put in here?
76. Let's see.
Or we could take
I don't
out
know.
Hunter.
Yeah, I mean Van Fleet's too cheap as a guard, but he's a guard, so probably not him. I do like Chet. I think he looks pretty solid. And
Yeah,
I'm not someone who
Chet.
plays a lot of Chet, but that price is tempting. I mean, we also have Eason for cheaper if we want to upgrade somewhere else.
Maybe we put in like Seth Curry, 3,700 instead of Kason. Leaves us 5K for not a lot here. Keldon, we didn't mention him. If he plays, he's an okay GPP play. But we're running late. I'm sorry, Nick. We're going to let you guys go, but good luck today. Season's running out. We only have a few days left. If you want to join the Q&A, instructions are in the description below. Jayhawk's underway with that. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Good luck tonight, and let's get it.